and most of it over here into a pile. I guess it was actually snowing there. There he's throwing the dirt off in a pile. You can see the different color material compared to this here reddish brown material over here. If it wouldn't have been for this man here, I never would have got this shaft built. He was very determined and he stuck to his job, and no matter how hard and how impossible it got, he stuck to it, and we finally finished the job. At this point, I was having a problem, and I was hitting hard rock right in the middle here that I couldn't penetrate with my special rock penetration teeth on my bucket. Yet on both sides it was soft material. It was very soft, just mush, dirt. And I didn't know what was happening. This is the dragline bucket here and his cable. Of course, this is the ladder we have to crawl down to get down in there, and we had adobe steps in the mud and everything else to get in there. That just shows the hole, how straight and square it is. Just straight across, straight that way, and straight this way. And this side here, I'm just digging myself down. I dig the material and give it to him, and then I go over on this side with the machine. I dig that side down, so I'm lowering myself with the machine as I go down in the hole here. I have very little room there. I can move back and forth this way, but I can't move but 6 feet back and forth this way. And it's getting quite dangerous because this hole is the size of a football field. But once you get down this deep, the walls appear to be almost straight down. There's a lot of rocks hanging up here. Here's one rock that one man was really scared of, and it never did fall. It just stayed there. A lot of rocks up in here. So finally we decided to pump the water out and see what the problem was here with this rock in the middle. I didn't understand it. And there you can see where he is. He's right on the edge of this slope here. That's where his bucket comes up here. And that's where I am down here. That's my boom, of course, 35 feet above where I am. So you can see the conditions we're working in. They're very dangerous. So then the bridge builder in Marion, which is 30 miles away, decided to start building the footing forms for the shaft itself. And this is the footing form right here. You can see the steel rebar sticking out. It's reinforcing steel for the concrete. And this is the outside of the form, which we finally couldn't use, but it was there. This shows the form. Now the shaft is this inner space here. That's 5 foot across and 13 feet long. And these rebars are going to be in the concrete. Now there's going to be a 3 foot high concrete footing bearing all these rebars. And that's going to be a space in there where we can go down in it to mine the ore out. At this point I intend to build a shaft and go into actual mining efforts and to actually process the gold all by myself, with a lot of help, of course. So there we pumped the water out to find out what our problem was. And we had this massive rock here, and I finally figured out that that is the vein. That's our gold vein right there. That big loaf of bread. And I don't believe anybody has ever seen a vein exposed like that, because most people, when they build a shaft, will start building the shaft at the surface and going on down. I believe I'm the only person that's ever gone down to blue granite or bedrock, got to the vein, and built the shaft coming back up, filling the hole in. Now this was getting to be hard blue granite on each side of this thing, but it was soft on each, right next to the vein where that water is. And you can see he's dragging that dirt away for me. It's got kind of a bluish color to it, and it's just loaded with gold. Just another view of the vein. Now when I had the camp weld drilling come in the beginning, and I told him to drill holes down with his 6-inch weld drilling rig till he hit blue granite and pull out to show me where hard blue granite was. This is one of his holes right here. That's a 6-inch hole. That's the bottom of it. So he had drilled down to that point and pulled out, and it cost me $500 for him to tell me that was hard blue granite. Well, if he had been 3 foot over, he would have went down another 20 feet to hit hard blue granite. Because when this vein come up in a molten state through this fault in the earth, it cooked the ground, and it decomposed this rock here, and it was just mud on each side of this. And it takes 20 feet of that mud, we have to go below that mud to get down to the hard blue granite. Now if we had built our shaft over there or over here, we would have had hit hard blue granite already and had the shaft in 20 feet sooner. Now you can see this vein here is quite large, and it's cracked. And it's got a lot of rust in it. Wherever you have gold, you have rust. You have iron, and the rust turns the iron turns to rust. Let me start over. Wherever you have gold, you have iron, and the iron will rust when it's exposed to the air and the water. And that's all the rust in there, showing that there's a lot of iron in this material, showing that there's a lot of gold in it. As you'll see, this rock here is very solid, but at this point it's kind of crumbled up. That's just the very edge of it there. This shows my shovel on the vein, so it shows the vein to be about, I'm not sure, I think it was 5.5 or 6 feet across at that point. This is our screen and our hose where we're pumping the water out to keep it out. Now we're going to have to blast this vein out of here so we can go down deeper in this and with this wall, so I can dig this 20 foot of mud out of here. Now you can see that this vein sits on an angle here, and this here is blue granite on this side and blue granite on that side, and this is just all vein material. Just another view of it, showing a nice view of that hole. You can see the pretty blue granite over there. It's got a lot of kaolin and marbleizing in it. It's somewhat decomposed up in here. That's a close-up view of the vein, showing all the cracks in it. Now all this rock has been blasted out and carried up the hill, and it's now up by my mobile home that I was living in at that time, in a pile. So I've saved everything that came out of this hole. The only thing I put back in was barren dirt. That's the decomposed end of it. Of course, the vein does continue across the whole property, but at the surface here it was decomposed right there. But after you get down 20 foot, it's solid and continuous all the way across the property. This is my little prospecting hammer. So this is the crane operator, the dragline operator, and this is a man named Sockeye. And they're having to drill holes to put dynamite in to blast this vein out so I can dig down deeper. There they're drilling the holes. They put 7 sticks of dynamite in there to blast that rock out of there. Now I stuck the camera around the crane right when the man said fire in the hole, and I snapped a picture, and the rocks are picked up right here. You can see them actually lifted as that dynamite is exploding. And that blew that vein clear out of there. This is as far away as I could get the excavator, so we put a piece of plywood across the back of it to protect the engine compartment from any flying rocks. There was no way to get the machine out of there. At this point, of course, we're down 65 feet. We're going to have to go down another 20 feet yet. So we're getting close to hard blue granite all the way across the hole, so they're bringing the forms in for the footing. We use this crane for a lot of things. Now at this point, the bridge builder decided that he didn't want to stay there any longer. And this was Thursday. And he said, if you don't pour the footing by Friday, he said, I'm going to quit and pull out of here. And I explained to him that I'm down to hard blue granite. I'm down 20 foot deep now from the previous pictures. I'm down to hard blue granite here and here. I've explained to him I had 3 or 4 feet to go here yet. That was still soft material. So we were going to have to blast all this out of here to get down to hard blue granite. He said he would not wait. He said that he could make $30,000 a week on a 7-man crew, and that he was losing money on this job, and he was going to pull out. Now, this is Sockeye down there just trying to shovel some of this soft material over to where the shaft